Good morning and welcome to Cooler Talk with Rhonda and Cynthia. Cynthia happens to be away this week, so I'm going to talk about living life on life's terms. Not an easy feat in many, many cases. So, what does living life on life's terms mean? Well, living life on life's terms means living through life circumstances as they actually are. When life knocks you down, you get up, brush yourself off, and keep moving on. It's not an instantaneous act, believe me. Believe me from experience. You may be angry, upset, and disappointed, but you can't stay that way for very long because life moves on. You've got to go through what you've got to go through in order to get where you were going. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Living on life terms is about honoring who you are as a person while accepting that there are many aspects of your life that are out of control, like other people. This requires a profound state of humility, but the payoff is worth it. I'm going to put that in the chat box. So I found an article. I'll go with this third point first. Living life. If you want to be free to live your life your way, you have to allow others to live their lives their way and be comfortable with it. There's no reason to get involved in anyone's life but your own. Staying away from toxic people, then there are people who make it a point to get into your business whenever they can. And you have to learn to set some boundaries with that. So I'll go back to my first point. Living life on life's terms means living through life circumstances as they are. You know, good things happen, bad things happen, tragic things happen, horrifying things happen, but they happen. And you could while away your life trying to change something that's over and done with. History cannot be changed. It's gone. It has happened. It cannot be rewritten. However, when you stay in the present, you can make changes by the moment, if you will. But learn from those, when you get knocked down by life, learn from those situations. Learn, you know, try to find out what your part was. And that's not placing blame. That's just taking an objective look. Sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So try to look at it from an objective point of view, not from a judgmental point of view, because then you can, in the future, prevent yourself from getting into similar types of situations. Now, I did a little snooping around online and I found a nice life hack by a guy named Matt Duzmaninsky. I am sure that I did not say that right, but it's called 6 ways to live life on your own terms. So let's get to that. So I am going to reference, kind of hard to cut and paste and talk at the same time. 6 Ways to Live Life on Your Own Terms by Matt Duziminski. Let's see if I can reference that page. Okay, I'm going to reference the link there, so you have a reference point. There we go. So let's start with his 6 points. I kind of like the way he worded things. If you've ever loaded up, taken a introduction, if you've ever loaded up on your Facebook feed and immediately gotten jealous of some random acquaintance from high school after seeing pictures of their vacation to Cancun, you're not alone. We're inundated on a daily basis with stories about how absolutely incredible other people's lives are, while we're left sitting in our tiny cubicle or sitting in our home wondering when our time will come. Well, I'm not even going to get into the fact that those other people usually live just as boring a life as you do. And they just highlight the 3 days of vacation they get a year, or however often they take vacations, to make their life seem a little bit more interesting. And that's what vacations are for, to help enhance our lives and make things a little more interesting. But anyway, the point is, you shouldn't be comparing your life to others. That's the fastest way to destroy your own self-esteem. Comparing your life to others, you aren't living their life. You really don't know what their day-to-day circumstances are. The only way you'll get where you want to be is if you live life on your own terms. And Matt has 6 ways to do that. Number 1 is staying out of other people's business. It's human nature for us to want to be accepted and loved by everyone around us. That's perfectly normal. It's no surprise we're constantly thinking the grass is greener on the other side, but the truth is your grass is just as green as it needs to be. Think about that for a minute. So let's do this. Number 1. Number 2, staying away from toxic people. What does that mean? Then there are the people who make it a point to get into your business whenever they can. They're the ones constantly pointing out faults in your ideas at work, or the so-called friends who try to bring you down because they hate seeing others succeed, or even the relatives. Whether consciously or not, these people are incredibly controlling and will do their best to make sure you live your own life on their terms. Ditch them as soon as possible. You can't change them. Usually they're pretty set in their ways. They don't want to change. And it's just an uphill battle that will never, ever end. So use your gifts that you have to your advantage. And what are your gifts? Sometimes gifts is empathy. The biggest gift I think anyone can have is kindness, practicing kindness. If you're going to open your mouth, and want to be critical, ask yourself, is this going to be kind? And put your ego aside. Everyone in this world has a talent for something. Unfortunately, we often get caught up in our day-to-day lives that our talents end up going to waste. Whether you're a musician who has taken a day job as a mechanic to make ends meet, or college graduate who took a job as a barista until something better comes along. Don't let your skills go completely to waste. The last thing you want to do is give up on your true calling. And in your heart, you're going to know what it is. Excuse me. Another way to live life on your own terms is not working for external rewards. Now, what in the world does that mean? I mean, we all want money. Who doesn't? So money, money, money. It's what keeps us all going, isn't it? But does it really make you happy? If you want to live life on your own terms, you have to stop thinking of your worth in terms of how much you make. This goes for the poorest of the poor and the richest of the rich. Some of the least monetarily successful people I know are the most enlightened. They've traveled the world and have thousands of stories to tell. On the other hand, some of the more well-off individuals I've met live only to work and make more money, as if a 6-digit number in their bank account will make them feel better on their deathbed. I doubt that it will. If you want a fulfilling life, look inward, look inside your heart, intrinsically motivated. That allows you to seek out what is truly what you want to get out of life, and make the absolute most of it each and every day. Sometimes it has to be a conscious effort to make the most of it. Just stop placing making money the determinator of your value and your worth as a person, as a human being. Oh, number 5, let your work speak for you. Oh, hi, Jace. Thanks for coming in. Give me just a second. Let me finish this. I don't usually, Jace, just type in, your feedback. I don't normally, I usually invite people ahead of time to join in the video. So please join in the chat. I welcome your input. I really appreciate it. And number 6, not holding yourself back. So many of us have a tendency to hesitate when faced with a difficult task or decision. Well, it's definitely important to analyze situations carefully before taking any drastic measures. You don't want to be so fearful that you don't make a move at all. Remove any doubts you might have about your abilities. Be confident in your capacity to weather any storm that comes your way. You've made it this far, haven't you? And sometimes we need to seek outside counseling to live life on life's terms. The right professional can help you get a perspective and see things from a different angle. So I just wanted to use those as an example. 6 ways to live life on your own terms. So obviously there are many, many more ways to live life on life's terms. But I personally, I'm not a professional. I, use reference points that kind of confirm what my experience has been, my observations have been. I just came across a whole bunch of letters that they're like 30 years old. And as I'm reading these, I'm thinking about what my mindset was at the time those letters were written. And I'm like, wow, what a change, what a switch. So Jace, what do you have to say? Fill me in. type in the chat box, please. I welcome your input. If you'd like to join our show in the future, send us an email. So there is Cynthia Callahan. Good to see you again, Cynthia. Today's topic is living life on life's terms. I referenced an article written by a young man. Well, I'm assuming he's young. I'm sure he's younger than me. Matt Duzmaninski. It's a life hack page that I posted the link, 6 ways to live life on your own terms. And I had a discussion with someone recently, and we all know that politics and religion are probably the most emotionally charging conversations you can ever have. And I stated a position I had, and someone I care about, and can usually have open conversations. We can be very candid with each other. And we focus on not taking it personally and just trying to have an open discussion. And I realized as the way she was coming across to me was like, you don't like what I believe, and you're basically telling me that I should believe what you believe. But our lives have been different. Our paths have been different. We've had different experiences. And in the end, all was good. But I kind of got kind of nervous there. I caught myself at one point feeling kind of ashamed. I felt like I was being talked down to. But I know her well enough to know that wasn't her intention. Which is something else. My kitty is sitting on top of my notes, which is something else I was thinking about this morning is acceptance. Something I learned over 30 some years ago was acceptance is the answer to all my problems. And what in the world does that mean? It took me years to figure that out, but acceptance is nothing more than seeing something for what it is. If you look earlier in my post, living through life circumstances as they are. They may not be what we want them to be. Other people aren't always what we want them to be. We're not always what they want us to be. And there's all this unnecessary fighting and disagreements when all we have to do is just honor each other by accepting, okay, your life path has taken you through experiences that helped you come to the conclusion about certain things that you've come to. Why can't we accept that about people? What's the big deal if just because somebody doesn't see something the way we do, it doesn't mean we can't inquire a little more to get a better understanding. So why do we have to get ourselves all worked up just because somebody disagrees with us? We can disagree without being disagreeable. So that's pretty much it about acceptance and living life on life's terms. And if we don't like it, I'll speak for myself. If I don't like the way something is going, I will look at it and see where I can make changes. I'm not just going to complain. I'm going to offer some kind of solution or try to find a solution. And you know what? If I can't find a solution and I'm not happy with the results I'm getting, then I need to shift gears and move into a different direction. But in my mind, there's always a solution to everything. We just have to look for it. And not namaste. Yes, Cynthia, namaste. See the good in all, or the God or spirit in all. And by doing that and breaking that down, kindness comes natural. Um, so I really like that, Cynthia. That's a beautiful word. Namaste. See the good in all, or the God or spirit in all. And if we can do that, I think life would be so much more pleasant. Because in my experience, when I've had that mindset, I don't feel argumentative. Um, I don't want to argue. I want a better understanding. I don't have all the answer. I don't have all the answers. I'm not going to pretend I have all of the answers. But I can say from experience that this is the truth. I mean, have you ever been in a really bad mood and just snapped at somebody and then just walked away? Or you snapped at someone snapped at you and you snapped back? Well, doesn't that kind of energy breed more negativity? You ever snapped at someone and they returned that snappiness with kindness? For example, you know, I can tell you're having a bad day. What's going on? I think a few months ago I talked about the lady I saw at a gas station. I was working. I evaluate gas stations. I did was, and but I can't be specific. But I'm on the job. I'm focused, and I went to walk into this convenience store, and I noticed out of the corner of my eye a lady all the way over by the pumps. She was nowhere near me. And I just opened the door and went in. And she walked in and she made this irate comment to me. Thanks for nothing. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And so I just kind of let it go. I'm like, wow, what was that? And so I saw she stayed in the store a little bit longer, and I just kind of walked up to her. I go, it sounds like you're having a bad day. She goes, yeah, I was a little harsh, wasn't I? So that was her way of apologizing. But responding anger with anger resolves nothing, absolutely nothing. I don't even know where to go with that one, except that the only thing you could do with toxic people like that want to argue with you all the time is you just have to walk away. You just have to walk away. And that's for self-caring. Um I like that, Cynthia. Understanding our old way of thinking is habit. And it is the habit of being disagreeable that we need to be aware of. Absolutely. Um, so, uh, yeah, I just, living life on life's terms. Um, like I said in the beginning, bad things happen to good things happen to bad people, and any combination of those two phrases. Um, but it truly is a choice how we respond. Um, Sometimes a quick, deep breath can help. Um, Sometimes I just have to pray for someone and just send positive thoughts their way. because our interactions are futile and useless. People yet just have to walk away from people that are insistent about talking down to you or trying to put you down or being angry and hostile towards you. You did nothing to, I don't care what the circumstances it is. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. And that's all on the other person. That's their issue, their problem. And you can't make them look at it. That's a life choice on their part. If it's hard to be introspective, it's in, it's sometimes it's embarrassing to look at one's own personal bad behavior. And all you can do is make efforts in the present to correct and improve and be better. And try to keep that word kindness if you understand what the word kindness means. Lashing out at people is, I don't think people realize how harmful and hurtful it is. And talking ugly to people is an action, and it says more about you, the person doing that behavior, than it does about you. So I guess I've pretty much talked my way through that, living life on life's terms. Acceptance, accept the situation. This situation is what it is. Now I can choose how I'm going to respond to it, not react to it. And yes, sometimes really horrible things happen, and it's going to take time to work through the anger, the frustration, the humiliation, and so on and so forth that I mentioned earlier in the chat. But taking it one day at a time, one moment at a time, and remembering that that situation is in the past, it's over and done with. There isn't only energy attached to it if you give energy to it. So learn how to cope and come to terms with the feelings. Personally, I think it's a huge grieving process to let go of situations that are not for your good. But boy, if you can get to the other side of it, it's worth it. Just take your time. Don't be so hard on yourself. And if you can spend time in nature, around the trees, walking on a path, whatever, sometimes that helps. And with that, and Cynthia, good to see you here. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste, everybody. Namaste. See the good in all, or the God or spirit in all. Learn from what you experience. Do your best to come to terms with it, and know that you are loved no matter what. And with that, we'll see you next week with Cynthia Luna. And I hope you have a week full of abundance, love, and joy. Thanks for joining.